I wanted to talk about this old loft here. It looks like nothing. This is not you'll not find this in loft designs for racing pigeons. It was once a chicken house. It's got the big tall ceilings that go up 10 foot tall, and there's nothing glorious about it except that we do have 3 aviaries, or 3 areas that lets the air come in, and a vent up there. So this building, even when it's 100 degrees outside, is never really stuffy. It stays bone dry. We have a tin floor in it. Even though the loft can be dirty, it is always dry and healthy in this loft. The young birds, this is my young bird flying loft. I've got birds coming home from 500 miles as I speak today that will be coming back to this loft. I'm not flying against anybody, so I don't have to have all that computer gadgetry and all the fancy stuff hooked up. I'm just looking for young. My big thing is to fly young birds 500 and 600 miles each year, and I know if they come back, I don't have to talk to anybody else about it. And if they come back from 500 and 600 miles, I know in my heart that I've got good pigeons. I don't have to have a confirmation from somebody else to tell me that. But what I want to talk to you about this loft is that this loft, these birds love this loft. And if you want to build a loft that the birds love and you want birds that are happy, I highly recommend building a loft very similar to this right here. You don't have to be grabbing and catching the birds all the time. I mean, when I'm catching them to train, I come in here at night, a little step ladder, and I reach up and I grab them right off the roof just like that, real quick. Other than that, I don't need to be grabbing the birds all the time. And they love being up here above where I can't catch them. And they're super tame birds. When I throw feed down, they hop right down and start eating right in front of me and everything. I can almost catch them if I want to. But I don't do that. I'm just real methodical in what I do. I feed the birds at the same time every day, almost the same feed every day. I whistle Dixie at the top of the hill before I come down. They all know I'm here. I whistle before I'm opening the door. I don't do anything sudden. They know where I'm at all the time, and they get into that routine. I don't surprise them or scare them, and they come to the point where they trust me and know me very well. They know my face, they know my actions, they know my whistle, and they know it day in, day out, and they're very almost calmed by it. I've seen times when hawks are around here, and if I'm in the loft with them, they're almost like, yeah, I'm glad he's out in the yard, or I'm glad he's in the loft with us. You can almost. Maybe it's just me saying that, but I almost think that that's what they're thinking sometimes. But they love this loft, and I would recommend if you were going to build a young bird loft, I'd build one almost exactly like this. This loft is good with 50 young birds in it, and they'll stay very healthy. 50 birds will in here. I've had as many as 75, but you get somewhere around 40 in here. It's a great loft for about 35, 40 birds. They stay really healthy in this loft, and they love this loft. If you know pigeons and know how the pigeons are reacting, don't build a loft for yourself. Build a loft for the birds. It's the birds that count. And people get caught up in building lofts where they can get it's for their convenience. But I think it's more important to have the lofts. But it's my goal. I call it the chicken coop. When I'm talking about different lofts and I make little notations, I put chicken coop, CC. I know in my record keeping book, and this year's record keeping book's over 1,200 pages. But if I write some birds up in CC, I know it's in the chicken coop. So anyway, just a real common. It's not the loft that wins it's the birds and the guy behind the birds. It's not the loft. But you do want. Heitzman always told me that you want a wood loft. He said lofts made out of brick and concrete and other materials, tin and stuff. They sweat, and it's just not a natural. It's not good for the birds. A good wooden loft is what they like. And Heitzman always talked about people spend way too much money on lofts, and I believe that too. He says, lofts be made out of cheap wood and light wood. You don't have to be heavily constructed and all that kind of stuff. It's what everybody wants to do, and maybe it's my cheap way of getting out of doing all that, but. Hey, don't mess with success. These birds love this loft, and so why would I want something else? I just want to talk about this loft in general. I think one of the things is the fact that you got air coming from 3 directions. There's a lot of air coming in this loft, and you really want air in a loft, and it gets a fair amount of light in it too. So the birds are comfortable here. That's good.